yeah, like also to mask the feed. So now what I've got is, I guess we can see here is I've got these different black and white renders that I could use to mask. So I could also do it, I guess, yeah, the main one there. So now we start maybe getting some interesting results. And now I'm moving the camera around. And I guess I could show it the Unity window. And there's a little camera there. So it's possible to move that camera around in the world. And then just add different objects that I have. They're already in the scene, they're just kind of set to being off. But I could just trigger them on and off. Another thing that's kind of fun is, and then this is more of a, like in Unity, there's a bit of, there's like, you could do pretty much anything, but there's physics. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so there's a plane it's just an imported model, but it's just nice to see the live video feed kind of being destroyed and distorted in that way. And you can expose it.
Are you just using the keyboard?
Right now it's a touch controller, and it's sending OSC messages through the network to VDMX. I'm actually like VDMX is also really good for setting up parameters. Everything within it is MIDI mappable. With one button can control a different button. It's very modular in that sense. And so it's receiving the OSC messages from this touch interface, but it could also be receiving MIDI signals. A fun effect that I kind of came across by accident in Unity is not clearing the depth buffer. And when you do that, then each image that's being drawn stays. So then you get these tracer effects that look pretty glitchy and which I use a lot. And now I've got a transparent object that just kind of gives it more of a decay effect. There's also the possibility of using vertex displacement shaders. So yeah, so there's that circle over there which is receiving the camera feed, and depending on the image, just on the video signal distorts the geometry, which I guess we could see here in the 3D view. And then another thing I want to show was the scalability of inputting this video signals on different geometries. So here are different instances that are all receiving my live camera feed. And then with kind of a sine wave animation to it. And all of the animation is, and this was kind of, I'm kind of starting to understand, because this was kind of an easy door into coding and animating. It's kind of a simple-ish code to do sine wave animation, and I felt kind of comfortable doing it because it's kind of an easy, like a low barrier to entry, I guess. And it's just basically the different variables controlling the animation are, I can modify with my controller. And then I could add, so now I'm adding more and more instances of my video on different cubes. And so far so good, like it's a neat neat effect of repetition. So basically the idea is to have things as parameterable as possible, so that in the live performance, I could go with the flow. Like if the music is more dynamic, fast, crazy, well I can up the tempo. I can make things really more intense. And if it's slower passages, and then I guess as a final thing is also with the siphon workflow is then all of this is being sent back to the to VDMX. So my Unity output is coming back into VDMX using siphon, which means I could then add effects like master effects here. So here I have a mirror effect, which is kind of neat. Or kaleidoscope. And that again is just it's just up to whatever the software can handle. It's just really neat to be able to do that on the final output. It's very Tron looking, which is fun. I think that's pretty much it. So if there's any questions.
Do you ever use any pre-recorded videos, or do you always just use like like a camera, real-time camera?
No, it's very often like this is all pre-recorded video, pre-rendered. It could be also like video visuals. Sometimes there'll be shows where the musicians will have clips that they have, even their own music videos, and they could hand off the videos. And then it's easy to integrate to the scene. With this, what's great is the transition from a typical like standard VJing works really well. Like you could work on your VJ clips, traditionally, or video clips. One way to work in a dome is to create your dome masters and render them out, and that's your VJ clips. That's your set of loops. But then they can't really get. It's hard to transfer them back to other venues outside of the dome. So with this, yeah, it's really neat how you can bounce between the different ones. I did a show at a small club in Montreal where the drummer was controlling the visuals on stage. So he had his laptop on stage and he sent me a signal, and then I had my laptop at the back of the room, and just through like a black magic input box, I took his video feed and then I was projecting it on the geometry. Now it's just in my 2D setup where it's just one camera view. And then there was a neat way to interact with their visuals. So they had their visuals, and it was audio reactive, and they had their set way of how they want to see things, and it was then just another paint, like another color that I would just place it in this space and play around with that element.
But you primarily just play your videos in your VJing application and send it to Unity. That way you don't ever just put anything right into Unity.
As far as using textures within Unity or videos, no. My Unity, when my Unity scene is off, it's all white. It used to show a default texture. I'm also using Unity 3.5. I haven't upgraded yet to the later versions, so maybe it's different. But yeah, my scene is completely blank. It's just the geometry.
And just one last one is, how do we get stuff into Unity like this? Is there like a mono application that's been written that will just take in Siphon videos for Unity?
Siphon has they have a plugin. So if you go to the Siphon site, there's all the compatible applications are listed there. And then there's plugins that they develop or friends of theirs develop. So there's one for After Effects, which Tom just mentioned earlier, and then they have one for Unity Pro.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I speak about the more procedural aspect in Unity, like you see with the sine wave thing?
Yeah. So this And now it's gonna flicker because I've yeah, maybe I shouldn't select it. I'll just yeah, and here's hoping it doesn't crash the whole thing. So I'm opening up this script, and this is JavaScript. Unity supports C#, and I don't know, maybe another language, either Blue or Lua, I'm not sure. Yeah, so I have no idea how clean this is going to look. But
Okay, it's in text editor, and you just save it as a file, and then you.
yeah, something I could show, which is worth showing, is so that would be the code. Then I just drop it onto this this empty object in Unity, and this is my script here. And all of the variables show up. So here we see this number rising. That's the number of instances of objects. I kind of wish we could see it without it flickering, but what else do I have? Yeah, so all of my parameters, like the scale. So this is the information coming in from my controller. And if I don't think I could modify. Well, I guess I could. Yeah, I guess I just did. So it's also you could modify things just by clicking and dragging here. And it flickers because I've got the object selected, and it's kind of doing that, but yeah.
So a question for you. So Paul Bork is a huge fan of your work.
Who is?
Paul Bork.
Okay, yeah, he's
Can
nice.
you put his webpage back up and your designs cube so I can shoot a picture and send it to him?
For sure.
He took his webpage down so fast. Go back to the back to it.
No, it's great to hear. That's actually very flattering.
Can you put designs up?
What's that?
Your animated.
Oh, the design. Okay, yeah.
Designs, yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say that he also has a very simple command line tool called Cube to Dome, and he sells it for $30, and it'll take in your cubic Mac renders. So that's what I use for the design. It's my 5 images, 2K images. It pipes it in through that, and it'll render and create your spherical dome master. So for that, if I